what I wanted us to cover today is to give a brief overview of how we can basically get the input and output in our C programs. Last time we have been looking at an overview of how we can display maybe variables, get input. Now we want to get input and also display output based on different inputs. Last time we did a project where one was able to input the temperature of the water, and the program was able to determine whether the water is in freezing, in liquid state, or in evaporated state. And that is what we came to look into, the if statements. So today we'll build upon that and continue with our program, or build upon it, or just get to know how to make decisions in C. And today we'll look at maybe a typical grading system, of how we can create a grading system based on different marks that a user has input. And let us see the product. We'll name it as grading marks, and I'll create my project, C programming. This will be my project, and I'll work on the main file. So this is basically the first code, the main program that is normally the hello world program. But we have done this, and you've also done this on your theory, so I'll just write it again because if you're asked, this is what you'll be required to write: hashtag include stdio.h, and we said that was a preprocessor directive include. So I've written include wrongly, and that is a preprocessor directive that is used to import or just include the standard input and output library. And what marks as an entry point to our C program is the main method. So I say int main, and then this will be what will be executed when our program runs. And if I was to output something, I just say printf hello world, and when I run my program, and we said you can use \n to go to the next line. And what I'll do is I'll run the program, and as you can see that the output down here is hello world. So that is how you can output something, and it's coming from the output function of the standard input and output. And we said now for input, we normally use another function that is used to scan for the user input. If you wanted the user to input something like enter any number, so we just tell the user to enter any number, and after they have entered that number, we want to tell the user the number you have entered is blah blah blah, then you say that number. So I'll output enter any number, but our program is not doing anything because we have not written the code to scan the number that the user should enter. So what I need to do is to write code that can scan for that number, and to do that I just say scanf. And after writing scanf, you're supposed to write those double quotes, and inside of those double quotes is where you give the format specifiers. We took time by explaining format specifiers. These are the percent d for int, percent f for float and double, then percent c for character, and then percent s for character, array, or string. This is what you normally call a string. An array of characters. An array, think of an array as a collection of variables of the same data type, or a collection of different variables of the same data type. It can be an array of ints, an array of floats, an array of doubles. An array of characters is what we call percent %s, and we represent it as a string. So in this case, we need the user to enter any number. And for that, we need somewhere to store that number. And that is where the variable comes in. If I want to store like number 10, I have to store it somewhere. If it's an int, it can hold number 10. If it's maybe 10.1, I can't store it in an int, because we said an int cannot store decimal point numbers. So what I'll do is I'll create a variable to store that number, and then say int number. And after saying int number, this is where whatever the user inputs will be stored. And in this case, we said you write scanf, and in between those quotes, you say percent whatever number you're scanning. In this case, it's an int, so it's percent d. And then outside those quotes, you write comma, and then you write and after writing and, you write now the variable where you want to store that number you have scanned, and say and number. And this is what will show the user, this is what will ask the user to enter any number, and now this is what will store whatever the number the user has input. So this will give the user the opportunity to input any number. And if I run my program, you'll see that it has actually given me somewhere I can input any number, and I can input a number like 345. And when I press enter, there's nothing that has been displayed. It's just the default program ends with exit code 0. That is the default. Even if you don't have anything, this will always show with exit code whatever. And the reason why it's not showing anything, it's because we haven't printed out maybe that number. And if you want the user to know the number that they have entered, you just say printf, and then the number you have entered is. Now if you want to display, again, you use the format specifier in between your sentence, and you say percent %d. And where will this percent %d come from? You outside the double quotes, you have to specify where this percent %d will come from, and it will come from the variable number again. And now for displaying, we don't use this and. This and is used only when scanning for that number. Now for displaying, you just say number, and the program will output the number you have entered. It won't output percent %d. It will replace this percent %d with the number that the user has input on top. And if I run my program, that is actually what is going to happen. If I input a number like what do we input, and I am just doing, and 5,489. As you can see, the number you have entered is 5,489, and we say that this program this problem where program is just continuing to write on the same line, it's because we have not inserted \n at the end of %d, and I say \n to go to the next line. So just do that, and 43, and now you can see that it's going on to the next line. And that is how you can display a variable. That is how you can display something like an integer variable. If it was a float, enter any number. Let's try and see. If I try to enter a number that has a decimal, let us see the response. If I say 434.32, you'll see that it will truncate the decimal. It will actually ignore, or it won't work. Exactly, you've seen that it has ignored the 0.32 and just said 434, because the number that we have provided here is a float. A float is a number that has a decimal point or a double, and since we are using an int, it has just truncated. It has ignored the decimal point. So if you are using a program that needs the decimal, your program won't work perfectly, and that is how we can do it. So if it was a float, we say float number and then enter any number, and after you scan it, the way you display it is %f, not 5, %f. And now if we input a number that has a decimal place, it's supposed to work perfectly. If I say 43.444433, whatever, and it's actually giving me an error, okay, this is perfect, because the number you have entered is 0.00, and this problem is coming here where we are scanning. As you've seen that I have changed the display to %f, I should also change where I'm scanning to %f, because it's a float. So I had written it as %d, that's why my program wasn't working perfectly. And now if I enter any number, you'll see that it should work perfectly. And the number that I have entered is 54,564, and that is how you can use a float and a double. The number that you have entered is that. So let us ask for the user to input a name. So let us ask for the user to input a name. Just say printf, and then say now enter your name, then \n. And now how you can store a name in C is by use of a character array. So you just say character, and then if it's for name, you just say the name, the character, the variable name, and then you write those square brackets. These are what now define an array, and inside that you just say the number of characters that you might anticipate. So if you say something like 50 characters, you are saying that the maximum number of characters that will be there will be 50, and if a user inputs something more than 50, the rest will be ignored, and this is what will store the username. After doing that, we now scan for the name, and then say scanf, and then the same thing. The first thing that you do is specify the format specifier, and do %s, and then comma, and in this case it will be name. This is how we scan for a name in C. And after doing that, what do we do next? We display. We just say printf. You just say your name is, and then your name is, then you say %s, and then you refer to the name. That is how you scan for the name and display the name. So that's about it. And name, and let me just run my program, and that is wrong. So it will ask for any number first. 43, the number you have entered is 434, and the reason why it's providing these decimal places, it's because we are using a float, and by default a float will provide you with decimal places unless you specify the number of decimal places. And we said if you want to specify the number of decimal places when outputting, you can do something like 0.1 to specify, just give me one decimal place. 0.2 to specify, give me two decimal places. 0.3, and it goes on and on. If I don't want any decimal point, I just say 0.0. And now I need to enter my name, and I'll say my name is Edward. And as you can see, your name is Edward, and you're making the same mistake. After outputting, we are not going to the next line. So I'll go to the next line after %s, then say next line. And when I run my program, you'll see that now this time round, it won't give me any decimal places because I have specified that it's 0.0f. If I wanted two decimal places, 0.2f. If I wanted whatever, so even if I enter a number like 35 point, that number, it won't give me these decimal places because I have specified that when I output, give me 0 decimal places. As you can see, it's 34, 35. It has ignored all the other decimal places. And now for my name, I will enter your name, and what's my name? Jane. And as you can see that your name is Jane. And the last thing that we can try and scan and display the output is maybe a character, just a single character. Tell me your grade or gender. Gender, we can have M and F. So printf, tell me your gender. And let me go to the next line. Tell me your gender, and for a gender, it will be a single character. So we can just say character gender. That will scan for the character. I think I should join this together. Now enter your name. This code is for the name. This other one falls for a number. This other one was for a number. This is for the name. And now this is for the gender. And to scan for the gender, it's the same thing. Scanf, and then %c, and then you just say and gender, and that will scan for the character that the user will scan, and say printf. We are now outputting our gender, whether it's M or F, and saying your gender is %c. So I want to display something like your gender is M, your gender is F, and that is what I'll do. And I won't forget this time. I'll add a new line and say gender. And when I run my program, it should actually now work with enter any number. If I enter 433433, 434434, the number you have entered is that. Enter my name. What is my name? Clark. And your name is Clark. And tell me your gender. Your gender is, so it's not giving me a chance to input my gender. So we're supposed to see where the problem is. Scanf %. C gender, and gender, what if I duplicated it? Enter any number, enter your name, Jex, tell me your gender. Yeah, so gender is something like M, so my gender is M, and as you can see, my gender is M. My gender is M. And the reason why I think I'm doing it double is because for the character, I think it's scanning this as a character, so you shouldn't be worried about that. Just know if you need to scan for a character, you just say scanf %c, and then whatever the character variable you want to scan. And let me see if I was to get rid of this, because it could be taking in that as an escape character. And let me just stop and also remove that line of code. And yeah, so enter any number, name Eric, tell me your gender is, yeah, so it's still a problem. But it just still remains that if you want to scan your character, you just do this. You just declare the character variable and now scan for the character. Now what I want to do is we write a program. Okay, write a program that will be used to grade student marks. And first of all, you will input assignment 1 marks. You will input assignment 1 marks that are out of maybe something like 10. Number 2, you will input assignment 2 marks that are out of also 10. Number 3, you will input cut 1 marks that are out of maybe 20, out of 20. Then number 4, you will input cut 2 marks that are out of what, also 20. Number 5, you will also get the average of both cuts and assignments. You will input cut 1 marks, get you will also get the average of both cuts and assignments. The other thing is for the main exam. So we can say that the main exam is out of maybe 70. Yeah, we can say the main exam is out of 70, so that the cut marks can be 20. And the, what do we call it? The assignment marks will be 10. So I think this can be 6. So after you input cut 2 marks, number 5, you will input main exam marks that are out of 70. After doing that, you will get the average of, let me do everything by its own step. You will get the average of cut marks out of 20. Then number 7, you will get the average of assignment marks out of 10. And after doing that, Number 8, you will add the assignment and cut and exam marks. You will add now all of them. After adding all of them, you now grade the student. Number 9, grade the student based on the total marks got. And what will be the grading system? So let us see. Grading system, and the grading system will be something like this. So the grading system will be something like, if they get maybe we start from the 0 to 40 will be equals to E. Then is it 39? Let's say 39, 0 to 39 will be E. Then 40 to, is it 49? Yeah, 49 will be D. Then 50 to 59 will be equals to C. And which will be the next thing? 60 to 69 will be CB. Then 70 to 100, not 200, 100 will be A. So this is our grading system. So let me just use tabs so that the spacing can be quite good. Awesome. So that is our grading system. Based on whatever the student will get, this is how we will grade our student. So 70 to 100, that is A. 60 to 69, that is B. 50 to 59, that is C. 40 to 49, that will be D. 0 to 39, that will be E. And how we can do this is now to start with the first steps. So the code that is up here, I can just delete it. Yeah, I hope you've understood. Or I can just comment it out so that it's not activated. So we said comments can be used to disable code, and that is what I'm doing right here. Okay. Now that will assume that there's nothing in our code. So if I run our program, there is literally nothing. So you can see program exited with exit code 0. And there's nothing in our program. So what we want to do is to write this program now. And for the first thing, write a program that will be used to grade the student's marks. And the first thing that we'll actually ask the student, I think we can store their name. So we can ask for the student's name. We can ask for the student's name as the first thing, and then start inputting marks. So for the name, we need somewhere to store the name. So you can actually do this. You can declare your variables, all of them at once. What I mean by that is, you can say something like, first thing we are doing is asking the student to input their name. So we need a character array to store the name, and say it will be something like it shouldn't exceed 50 characters. That will be used to store the name. You can actually just declare all your variables. Then next you will input assignment 1 marks, and then you say assignment 1, this is an integer, so you say assignment 1, and do that. Then you can say int assignment 2, then int assignment, there is no assignment 3. You can also say the next thing is assignment 1, assignment 2. You will input cat1 marks, so you can say int cat1 and say int cat2. I'm using an int because when the user is inputting, it doesn't let's assume that our cats, we can't get something like 7.5. It will just be 7/10, 5/10, 3/10, those kind of marks where there's no integer. Okay, so you can actually declare your variables like this. And the other way is just you declare them as your program, as you're writing your program. And as you're writing your program, what I mean by that is you first ask the user to input the student's name, the way we were doing on top there. So you just say printf, enter your student's name. And after doing that, after you output that, that is the only output that is in our program. So we are writing our program sequentially. And after doing that, we now start with the student's name variable. We say character array, then name, then we say the size is 50 characters. It shouldn't exceed 50 characters. And after doing that, we now scan for the name. So you say scanf %s. We said a character array, we normally use %s. We actually defined it here, character array %s. We say %s and then and name. And this is what will scan for the student's name. If you want to display it, you can say printf. This is what you are doing. Your name is, then say your name is %s, and then output the name. And here it's good, after you finish displaying your line, you just say \n to always be going to the next line. Now if I run my program, you'll see that it will give me a chance to enter my name, and it will tell me your name is Eric. So this means it has already stored my name successfully in the name variable. So we won't be needing that. Enter your student name. Then the next thing is what? You will input assignment 1 marks out of 10. So you just tell the user to input printf, enter assignment 1 marks out of 10. And this has to go to the next line and do that. And since we are just outputting, we just tell the user to enter. So after I enter my name, you'll see that the next thing will enter assignment 1 marks. But since I am not scanning, nothing will be done. So I need a variable to store my assignment 1 marks. So I just say int assignment 1. And after doing assignment 1, I scan for it, scanf, and then say assignment 1 is an int, so I say %d, and then say and assignment 1. So this will scan for my assignment 1 marks. And if I wanted to print it out to just see whether it's scanned perfectly, assignment 1 marks equals %d, and I can go to the next line and I can do that and say assignment 1 and do that, and it will ask for my name, Jakes, then ask for my assignment 1 marks. I input 10, and as you can see, assignment 1 marks equals 10. So this means that my assignment 1 marks have been stored perfectly. So I can get rid of that line because it was just to see whether my assignment 1 marks have been stored. And the next thing is you will input assignment 2 marks out of 10 too. So you can say printf, or you can just copy these because assignment 1 and assignment 2. So you can just copy. You can just copy these. You can right click and copy, and you can just paste it here. Enter. Now this will change it to assignment 2. And also the integer variable, we change it to assignment 2. And also for the scanned one, we change it to assignment 2. %d will remain because both of them are integers. And that will scan for assignment 2. We don't need to display because it will be scanned perfectly. Then you will input cat1 marks out of 20. So printf enter cat1 marks out of 20, and do that, and I can go to the next line. And since this is just a display, I can now have a variable for cat1 marks. So I just say int cat1, and now scan for cat1, scanf %d, and then comma and cat1. So this will scan for cat1 marks, and if I wanted to display, I can display, but I don't need to because it will actually display perfectly. Then the other thing is cat2 marks. What I can do is I can copy this, the same thing, but I can just write it to printf and say enter cat2 marks on the route of 20, and do that, and I have used a colon, not a semicolon, and say int cat2, and say scanf and %d, then and cat2. So this is what will scan for cat2. If I wanted to check whether they are correct, this is something new that I'll show you. You can say print f cat1 is equals to %d, and cat2 is equals to %d, and I can go to the next line. So this is what will happen here. I want to display two different variables on the same print statement. So it's just the same thing. You just, wherever you wanna display your variable, you just write %d. And in this case, you are saying that cat1 is equals to %d and cat2 is equals to %d. So that means outside these, outside the quotations, you have to provide two different variables to provide to just display. So for this %d, it's what you will write out here as the first variable, and for in this case it's cat1, and then you write another comma because they are 2%ds, another comma, and now specify cat2, and now this cat1 will reference this first %d, then this cat2 will reference this second %d. And so you'll actually see that it will actually display whatever I input for my cat1 marks and cat2. So I'll say my name is Eric, and enter assignment 1 marks. Assignment 1 I'll say maybe 2, assignment 2 marks I'll say 3, then cat1 marks I'll say maybe 10, cat2 marks I'll say maybe 11. So after I press enter, it should now display, it should now say cat1 is equals to 10 and cat2 is equals to 11. So let's see whether it will say that. And as you can see, cat1 is equals to 10 and cat2 is equals to 11. So this is how we can do getting the input. This is how we can also display two different variables within the same line of our print statement. If you had three, you would have provided three different %ds, and we can actually do that to display assignment 1 and assignment 2. So if you wanted to also add maybe assignment 1 and assignment 2, you can say assignment 1 is equals to %d, and assignment 2 is equals to %d. But now, since you have added two other different integer values to display for assignment 1 and 2, you also need to add them outside, and they should follow orderly. The first %d will go to the first one that is outside, the second one will go to the second one, the third one, which is assignment 1, will go to assignment 1, and the fourth one will go to assignment 2. So that is how you can actually display your different variables in the same line, if you wanted to do so using a couple of %ds inside and providing their thing. Say your name is Jane, assignment 1 is something like 4, assignment 2 is 5, cut 1 marks is maybe 10, cut 2 marks is 19. So this should display for all the values. So you can see cut 1 is equals to 10, whatever we had input up there. Cut 2 is 19, and the reason why it's saying 19, 19, it's because I input 19 twice. If you can see cut 2, I have input 19 here and 19 here. So that is the problem. I should have waited. Assignment 1 is equals to 4, and assignment 2 is equals to 65, because I have input for assignment 2. You can see here is 6 and here is 5. So I should be patient when inputting my stuff. So let me just start again. Say my name is John, and assignment 1 marks is something like 9. Assignment, I have already input 8. Lack of patience. Replace. So let's do it again. Jam. Can just input any name. Then assignment 1 is 9. Assignment 2 is 8. Cut 1 marks is maybe 10. Cut 2 marks is 19. So this should work perfectly. As you can see, cut 1 is 10. Cut 2 is 19. What we have here, assignment 1 is 9. And assignment 2 is 8. Should be 8. Assignment 2 is equals to 8. So that shows us that our input is actually working. Now, after doing that, what else do we need to do after we've got assignment 2? Where are we? You will input assignment 2, you will input cut 1, cut 2. Then you will input the main exam marks that are out of 70. So here, you need to input the main exam. So we can get rid of this print statement. You've understood how you can. So I can comment this out and say, I can comment this and say, this is for the name input. This is for the second step. The other step, which is assignment 1 input. This is for assignment 2 input, and this is for cut 1 input. This is for cut 2 input. This is for cut 2 input. And after cut 2, what do we have next? The fifth step, you will input the main exam marks that are out of 70. So this is for the main. This is step 5 for the main exam. Main exam input. And how do we input the main exam? So we first tell the user what they need to do. Just say printf. What are you inputting? Enter the main exam marks out of 70. And do that and that and that. And we say int main exam. Okay, int main exam. So you say main underscore. You can just say main exam. But if you want to space out, just use an underscore. Please use an underscore. If you have two words, be using an underscore or join those words, because you can never use a space to join your letters or your variable names. So either use an underscore or just join those words. I'll just join them like main exam. Okay, so I'll say main exam, and now scan for it. Say from the main exam is %d, and then and main exam, and do that. Now that will scan for the main exam. After doing for the main exam, after scanning for the main exam, you will, the step 6, you will get the average of cut marks out of 20. So the next step is to get the average of cut marks out of 20. This is step 6. Get the average marks out of 20. And how do we do this? So here is where you need to ask yourself, after you have gotten the first cut and the second cut, what do you normally do to get the average? So the average is you add the two cuts, then divide them by 2. And that is simple. And here is another thing to consider. If maybe you got your first cut to be 7 and the second cut to be, maybe you got the first cut as 7 and the second cut as 8, you can see that this is equals to 15. Okay, if you divide 15 by 2, if you divide 15 by 2, what do you get? If you divide 15 by 2, you get 7.5. So you can see that in average, some calculation can yield up to a decimal point. And now to take care of that, we need to use a data. We need to use a data type that can accommodate a decimal point. And we said for that, it's either a float or a double. And the difference between a float and a double is that maybe a float is smaller than a double. But in this case, since a float can store numbers up to several billions, it's actually good to use it. So to get the average, we will have to use a float. And to perform that math expression, we can actually just do it straightforward and then say float, we say float cut underscore average. So are we starting with the average of the cut or the exam? So let's see, average marks of the cut. So we just say cut average is equals to, how do we get the average? You just write it as how you would write your normal math expression. So you just say it's cut 1 plus cut 2, and then you divide by 2. Just that. But these will also take the math, the board mass, and in board mass, division comes before addition. Okay, board mass. So it will actually board mass. So brackets, division, multiplication, addition. So you can see here it will first do cut 2 over 2, of which it's very incorrect. So to do that, we can introduce brackets to first add cut 1 plus cut 2. So we just add these two first, and then we divide them by 2. And that will now be the correct thing to do, because it will follow the order of addition and division. And to do that, you can actually print out and then say printf cut average is equals to, and then say we are printing out this cut average variable, of which it's a float. And to print out a float, we say %f. And we don't want all those decimal places. We want it to maybe 2 decimal places. So we can say 0.2f to format it to 2 decimal places. And then outside say cut average. And this should give us the average of our cuts. 0.2f, cut average is that. So let us see whether it will be perfect. So we first enter the student name, and then assignment 1 marks is maybe 10, assignment 2 marks is maybe 9, cut 1 marks, let us test with what we did. We said we tested out with 8 and 7, so we say cut 1 marks is 8, cut 2 marks is 7, so the average of our cuts should be 7.5. The main exam maybe we got 60. So after inputting the main exam, this code will now be executed, and it should print out the cut average. So as you can see, the cut average is 7. So it hasn't done the division properly. So I think the reason is because we are using ints, and so you can see when we are getting the input, we are using integers. We are using integers to get the input for assignment 1, assignment 2, cut 1, cut 2. That is why it's not giving us the correct division. And to fix that, we can now use float for everything. So we can use float for everything. So gen, and assignment 1 marks is, let me just go to a new line and run it again. The name is Kim, and assignment 1 marks is 10, assignment 2 marks is 9, cut 1 marks is 8, cut 2 marks is 7, main exam marks is 60. And yeah, that is the reason why. It's because up here, when getting the cut marks, we are using an integer, and for it to divide perfectly, those numbers also need to be a float. So we can change for the cut 1 marks, we just say it's a float, and also for cut 2, it's a float. And don't forget that if you are scanning for float, you need to change this to %f, and also this to %f. So now if I input my data again and say Kim, and assignment 1 marks is maybe 1, assignment 2 marks is, I've already messed up, so let me just replace and be patient. So Jordan, assignment 1 marks is 9, assignment 2 marks is, done it again, it will so let me just stop everything, and let me just be patient. Jordan, assignment 1 marks is 9, assignment 2 marks is 8, cut 1 marks. Now here is where we need to test. Cut 1 marks is 8, cut 2 marks is 7. So this should give us something like 7.5, and main exam marks is 50. So you can see now it's working perfectly, and it's saying the cut average is 7.50. So which is 7.5, and that is the correct thing to do. So we need to do the same for assignment average. So let us just change from an int to float. So we are not changing any code like the logic or anything else. It's just changing from an int to a float, and that shouldn't be a problem. So we've changed the assignment to a float, and also the cut to a float, and also let's also change the main exam to a float, and also use %f for the main exam. And let's say float assignment average is equals to the same thing. You say assignment 1 plus assignment 2, then you divide by 2. The same thing. And I think I have a typo. Assignment 1 and plus assignment 2, then you divide by 2. That is the same thing that we did for the first one, for the cut average. And we can also print out. So you say printf assignment average is equals to %f, but I want to format it to maybe 2 decimal places. I say 0.2f, and go to the next line and provide the assignment average. Now that will give us the average for our assignment, and I think I have a typo. Assignment, yeah, it's this one up here. Assignment average, and that should also give us the average for our assignment. So the student name is, let us get in the name. Assignment 1 marks is, I need something that will yield to a decimal place. So assignment 1 is maybe 8, and assignment 2 is 9, so that it can be 8.5. Then cut 1 marks is 17, and cut 2 marks is 18, so that it can be 17.5. Main exam marks is 60. So you can see the cut average is 17.5, assignment average is 8.5, and everything is working as expected. And get the average of the cut marks. Then this was step 7. Get the average of the assignment marks out of 10. So this will get the average marks of the assignments. Then which was the next step after number 7? We as average of the, then we add the assignment and cut, and then we add them to the exam marks. So add number 8, we add assignment and cut averages to main exam, and this will give us the total marks for our student. So it will give us the total marks. So you can just say int, or let us just use float for everything. We say float total, or we can just call it total if you don't want to use 2 words. So you say total is equals to what? First of all, the assignment average. So we say assignment average plus what? The cut average plus the cut average plus main exam. So this is what will give us the total marks. And total marks, we can actually display it and say printf total marks for the exam is equals to then percent f, and I want how many decimal places? 0.2 decimal places, and I can go to the next line and say total. So that will give us the total marks. And if I now run my program, you can see that the total is assignment average plus the cut average, because this is what is normally done. Assignment average plus the cut average plus the main exam. And if I run my program, I can say my student name is Eric. Assignment 1 marks is 8. Assignment 2 marks is 5. Cut 1 marks is maybe 11. And cut 2 marks is something like 18. Main exam marks. Now main exam, how much do we get for 53 out of 70? And it will give me everything now. So the cut average is 14, the assignment average is 6, and the total marks for the exam is 74. So if we were to open up a calculator and calculate all this, and you'll see that it should be 74. So the first thing is, which is the first thing? The cut average is 14 plus assignment 6 plus what did we get for the main exam? 53. Do we have any other marks? 73. Why is it coming to 74? So I think it's it's because of these decimal places. Cut average is what do we call it? Cut average is 14.5, and then plus 6.5, then plus 53. As you can see, it's actually 74. Yeah, that is awesome. And just a minute. So sorry about that, just a little emergency. But yeah, we are just coming to the end, and as you can see that our total marks for the exam was as predicted or as calculated, and it's 74 as the user has input. Now the last step is to grade this 74, is to grade this 74. After we have got the total marks, we grade them using our grading system right here. And how can we do this? Uh, how we can do this is now making different decisions. Okay, this is where decision making comes in, and this is the last step of grading the students. So we grade the student based on the total marks. We grade the student based on the total marks. And how we can do this is take this total and subject it to different decisions. And we say that if we have one decision, we just use a single if statement. If we have two different decisions, we can use if else. But if we have so many decisions to make, we can use else if statements. And in this case, we'll have to use else if statements, because you can specify multiple conditions, and these conditions are what we will subject our marks to. And another thing that we need to do is we can actually see this grade. We can associate this grade with a single character. So you can say C is a single character, B is a single character. So we can say our grade, we will store it in a single character. So you just say character grade and just do that. You don't have to initialize it to anything. And now when we we declare our grade character, we need to test for the total marks. So we just say if total is, so we start with the first condition. So if the total is greater than 0, and so you've done this and or, so this is what we normally say. If the total is greater than 0 and the total is less than 39, and the total is less than or equals to, so you can say greater than or equals to or less than or equals to 39, you can assign our grade to be, you can say our grade is equals to what? Our grade is equals to E. I hope you're getting this. So you can say our grade is equals to E. And to assign our character, we say that you have to use a single quote for a single character. And this is what we can do for making our different decisions in our grading system, because we have to test for all these conditions. So you have to say if the total is greater than 0, so it's starting from 0, and okay, and how and works is that this has to be true and also this has to be true. So if our marks was something like 38, it will come and test and see that is 38 greater than or equals to 0, and it will see that it is true, 38 is greater than 0. And is 38 less than or equal to 39? That is true. So by using and, that means our grade is E, because 38 satisfies both conditions. It satisfies the first condition and also the second condition. That is what we normally use by and. But if it was or is normally represented by those two. We normally call it the pipe. if anyone was true between these two, if anyone was satisfied between these two, it doesn't matter whether the other is satisfied. It doesn't matter. It will be true if only one is true. And for and is the opposite of that. It is only true if everything else is true. If this is met, and also if this is met. So this is the basis of how we will form our grading system. And then go to the next one. We say else if total is the next one is 40. So we say it's from 40 to 49. 40 to 49 is D. So if total is greater than or equal to 40 and total is less than or equal to 49, we say our grade is equals to D. Our grade is equals to D. That is the same thing that we have done here. We have said total is starting from 40 and ending at 49. The other thing is else if total is greater than or equal to 50 and total is less than or equal to 59. You say our grade is equals to C and do that. Then else if total is greater than or equal to 60 and total is less than or equal to 69, you can say grade is equals to B. Then lastly, else if total is greater than or equal to 70 and total is less than or equal to 100, we say our grade is equals to A. And this is how we can actually form our grading system. Okay, so we test for if maybe the user, if the grade total for our exam was maybe something like 77. Let us start here. 77, is 77 greater than or equals to 0? Very true. 77 is greater than or equal to 0. So this is true. Okay, this is true. If this is true, it will go to the next condition. Is total less than or equal to 39? In this case, our total is 77. So is 77 less than or equal to 39? No, not at all. 77 is greater than 39. So this will be false. Remember that this was true, but now this is false. And since we are using and, we have gotten a false, something that is false. So all these will be false, and it won't assign our grade to be E. It will continue testing out. It will ignore whatever is inside and continue. It will now go to the next one. Is 77 greater than 40? Very true. But is 77 less than 49? Not at all. It's not less than 79. So it will also ignore this because this is very false. And then go to the next one. Is total greater than 50? Is total greater than 50? Nope. Yeah, actually, yeah, 77 is greater than 50. But is 77 less than 59? Not at all. It will also ignore assigning grade to BC. Is total greater than 60? Yes, 77 is greater than 60. But is 77 less than 69? Not at all. So it will also ignore assigning our grade to A. Then it will come to the last condition and say, is total greater than or equal to 70? Yes, 77 is greater than or equal to 70. And is 77 less than or equal to 100? Very true. So you can see that these two conditions are true. And if they are both true, it will assign our grade to be A. So that is how you can actually know how this is working. And after doing that, we can now print out and say you scored percent. So we'll tell the user they scored these in their total. So you scored percent. What is total? So I want to tell the user if it was 77, I want to tell the user you scored 77, so your grade is A. You scored 60, so your grade is B. So you scored total is a float, so we say percent %f, and we need to give it maybe 2 decimal places, so we say 0.2. So you scored percent %f, so you scored percent %f, your grade is percent. So now to display our grade, remember what we said to display a character, we normally use percent %c. So this is how you can actually mix and match all these things. You're not limited in whatever you can do. So you can say you scored percent %f and your grade is percent %c. And to do that, after doing that, I can go to a new line and now provide the first one is percent %f and it will represent the total. And then the second is percent %c, which will represent the grade. This is how now you can do that. So it should be printf, not print. And by doing that, we have written a program that can be used to determine the marks of a student based on the assignments, based on the cuts, and based on the main exam. And after that, it should give the grade of the student based on this grading system here. And if I run my program, we'll start with enter your student's name, and I'll say something like Eric, and assignment 1 marks is maybe 8, assignment 2 marks is 5, cut 1 marks is 17, cut 2 marks is 18. So this should be a grade A. Let us give them maybe 40 in the main exam, 40. So you can see that the cut average is 17.5, the assignment average is 6.5, total marks for the main exam is 64. For the exam, I mean the total marks for the exam. Let me display the cut averages, assignment averages. After assignment average, I need to display the main exam marks. I'm not displaying the main exam marks. Total marks for the exam, total marks combined for the exam is, after displaying the assignment average, I can say that I can print out the main exam marks. Okay, I can say printf main exam marks is equals to percent %.2f, then go to the next line, and then I want just to display the main exam, and it's main exam. So if I run my program again, it should display for all of them so that you can be able to add easily. And some name 7, something like 3. Cut 1 marks they got 11. Cut 2 marks they got maybe 18. What about the main exam? They got maybe 20 out of 70. So we'll see what grade is that. So here is combined for the main exam is 39.50. So let us see whether it's correct. Cut average is 14.5, assignment average is 5, main exam is 20. So this is 39.5. So you scored 39.5, your grade is, it hasn't displayed the grade because I'm pretty sure 39 hasn't, yeah, 39.5 hasn't been catered for. And to fix this is You can see here this was a very rare condition that we did not cater for, and we are starting at 39. Total is greater than or equal to 40. So you can see something, a number like 39.5 is floating in limbo. And to do that, we can just say we can actually go to maybe less than or equal to 39.5. We can introduce that, but an easier way would be would be would be to do what? There's an easier way where you can just test for if it's greater than 70. You can actually just use the first one. You don't have to use the and I'll just show you what I mean by that. Uh, what I mean by that is you don't have to write the second and, but that was just for clarity, and I can do that. And you see this second condition, it's actually not really necessary. Okay, uh, so you can actually do this and your program will actually just work fine, because it will be your program will be testing out whether this is 70. So I just do that. So also this works perfectly, and the reason is if maybe we got 39.5, it will come here and test is total greater than equal to 0, and 39 is actually greater than or equals to 0, and it will assign the grade to be E. Assign the grade to be E. And after doing that, it won't continue to these other conditions, and your grade will be E. But let's say if maybe you had something like 60, it will test out for the first one and say, is your grade greater than 60? No. Okay, yeah, it's greater than 60. It will actually do what? Assign your grade to E, then test out for is 60 greater than 40. Let's just run it. But the reason is your name. I need to disable this code that is up here. So let's disable this and run it again and replace. So the student name is Eric, and assignment 1 marks is, I need to enter the marks that yielded up to something like 49. Let's give us a very high marks, 9, and then 8, and then maybe 20, you go 12, and then 13. I have messed up the input because this will be 13, 13. So let me just run it again. My name is Eric. Assignment 1 marks is 7. Assignment 2 marks is 8. So that will give us a decimal, 13. And then assignment 2 is 18. Exam marks is 50. Yeah. Oh, this is the reason why. You can see that I scored 73 and my grade is E. I scored 73 and my grade is E. So it's assigning the first one here. The first one here. So to cater for these, it should start with the highest. It should start with the highest. And what I mean by that is doing this and then start with the highest. So you say something like, let me copy that, and if total is less than or equal to, then you just delete the first condition, and then start with 70, 60, 50, 40. Okay, I know these can be confusing, but you start with if total is greater than or equals to 70. Okay, if total is greater than or equals to 70. Let me just undo. So you just say here, if total is greater than or equals to 70, you grade A. If total is greater than or equal to 60, you grade B. If total is greater than or equal to 60, 70, 60, 50, you grade C. If total is greater than or equal to 40, you grade A, B, C, D. If total is greater than or equals to 0, so we are starting from 0, or where is our grading system? 0, 40, 50, 60, 70. So you can see here it's 0, 0, 40, 50, 60, 70. So this should work perfectly, and that is E. So you can actually do this. You can write your grading system as this, or whatever we had written up here, or whatever we had up here. This is the simpler way to do it. I did not want to do it this way because I wanted to teach you how you can use the AND. So you can use the AND to form boundaries from this boundary to the next. So you can use AND, but you can also do this, do this in any way. Because let's say our marks that we got for our main exam was 66. Your program will come and test out, is 66 greater than 70? Not at all. And it will ignore grading A. But is your mark 66 greater than or equal to 60? Very true. So it will assign your grade to B. And after it does that, it doesn't continue it doesn't continue in an else if statement. It does not continue. So if we do this, this should work for all kinds of input. So you'll say that the student's name is Eric, and marks is assignment marks is 7, and assignment 2 marks is 8, that is 15.5. cut 1 marks is 11, cut 2 marks is 13, main exam marks is maybe 30. Exactly. So you can see that the total marks combined for the exam is 49.50, and it has graded you to D. Okay, to D, because you haven't reached 50. So because C, it's starting from 50. So if you get 49.5, you're graded D. If you get 50, so let us see what will give us 50, so that you can see when you get to 50, our grade will be C. What can we do? We can add, maybe we started with 8, 7, and then 11 and 13. So we can say 8, 8, 11, 13, 30. Yeah, we can say 8, 8, 11, 13, 30. 8, 8, Eric. So you can say assignment 1, 8, 8, 11. So this should be 50. 11, 13, and then main exam 30. So this should be 50. And what do we know 50 is? 50 is a C. As you can see, the total marks combined for your exam is 50, and so you scored 50, and your grade is C. So this is how we can grade our students based on how they perform, based on their assignment and cut marks, and give a grade to their results. If we wanted to give them an A, Let us give them an A, and for an A we'll start with something like an A will start with something like 9. Assignment 2 will be 10. Cut 1 will be maybe 15. Cut 2 will be 17. And the main exam will be maybe something like 50. This should be more than 20, more than 70, I mean. Yeah. So you can see that the cut average is 16, the assignment average is 9.5, main exam mark is 50, so the total marks combined is 75. And then you tell them that you scored 75.50, your grade is A. And if you wanted to add their name here, since they input their name here up here as Eric, so you can say, Eric, you scored 75.5 and your grade is A. So watch what I will do. Here before you, I want to add the name that they have input up here. So I'll say %s and then have a space. And since this %s is the first thing, as the first thing here, before total, I will output the name. So this name will map to the first %s. The total will map to the second thing, which is %f for your final mark, and the third thing is %c, which will map to your grade. And if I do that and run my program and input my name as Jennifer, Irene, and say assignment 1 marks is maybe 2, 3, assignment 2 marks is maybe 7, cut 1 marks is 17, cut 2 marks is 18, or I can say 19, and then the main exam we got 40 out of 70. So you can see that it's saying cut average is 18, assignment average is 5, main exam marks is 40. So the total marks combined is 63, and 63 is actually a B from our grading system. And as you can see here, is saying, Irene, you scored 63 and your grade is B. That is how you can display different variables in your program, and how you can create such a grading system. And to do this, you have to start with the highest mark, then going down. If you don't want to specify the range of how we did here, you can do this. It's actually correct. It's very correct. It's just that we received an outlier case. This is also very correct to do, and you can do like that, or you can just do it the simple way like this to show your grade. So I think that is it for this session. I have recorded everything, and it will be available for you. And maybe if there are any questions, we can check up on them, but I can see the time is gone. So we'll be meeting next physically, and for this recording I will upload it and share with you the link if you want to go through it once more, and if you also want to share with the others maybe who might have missed this session. So I'll stop the recording now, and that's it for today.